What is up? We got the best three stocks to buy before September. This is in no particular order. Just thought you guys might want to know before the month ends. So, first up, we're going to talk about AMD a little. So, I've talked about this a lot before on the channel. They're going to continue to gain market share in both GPU and CPU markets. Their competitors, mainly NVIDIA and Intel, are just going to continue giving up market share to AMD as the sector continues to grow as well. They've had super strong margins as well as insane demand. You know that most of their stuff sells out instantly. All their capacity is pretty much filled up right now, and they have more capacity coming online, like the Helios rack and new models, MI450, MI500, etc. Um, Management has done a really good job executing. Lisa Su specifically brought the company from being almost bankrupt to where it is now. Wall Street still doesn't fully understand the whole picture, just like how they didn't around a year and a half ago when I started buying at 96. Up over 400% on the name. It's still a buy today. I think that it's it's just an opportunity to buy. I know it's been pretty much range bound for the past 3 months, but super high top line revenue growth. It's accelerating. Everything's accelerating in the company. I think that in the short term, end of year, I think the stock goes to 700, and I think in the long term, it's a $1,500 stock. It could also front run a lot of that growth, so you want to keep that in mind. But if you do want any sort of exposure to any chip slash AI names, it needs to be AMD at least. You need to at least have a position in the company. And given that it's been down a little recently, it's an excellent place to accumulate some shares before the next big run. I do think AMD has one last big run in left for it. Um, and I think we'll see that within the next 1 to 2 years. So next up, we have SoFi. So SoFi is an excellent short and long term um, buy, in my opinion. If you look at the SoFi flywheel, basically what this means is that customers are already in the ecosystem for SoFi, and the acquisition cost for the second, third, fourth, and etc. products that these existing customers are using are non-existent. That acquisition cost for them because they're already brought into the company. As members continue to adopt more and more SoFi products, their lifetime value for the company skyrockets tremendously. So what this means is that right now you're seeing all this high growth from the company. It's going to continue. It's going to build on top of this growth. So the growth is going to continue to mature, and new customers are going to come in. So you have to keep that in mind as well. In Q2 2026, over 50% of all new products were opened by existing members. It shows that the flywheel is working. And SoFi added twice as many new products as new members in a single quarter. And I think this will continue to happen, and it will continue to better and better the company as more and more new users come in, and those users then transition into users that are buying more and more products. SoFi targets customers who have yet to reach their financial prime. So most of their um, customers are going to be younger people who have still not made the most money they're going to make in their career. So as the company matures, as it increases, so is its customers as well. So that's just going to amplify the added value in the company. They have the loan platform business that's continuing to expand. It's a high margin business while remaining capital light, which is very good, especially for banking. Management has continued to execute at a tremendously high level. Look at Anthony Noto with the beat and raises. And the last thing is the macro environment for the company is really bad right now. I've been saying this over the past couple of months. You have the new Fed chair coming in. You have potential rate hikes. You have midterms coming up. You have the Iran and Strait of Hormuz and all of this other bad stuff, which has really put a kind of a cap on how low rates could go right now. So they're pretty high, and SoFi is still outperforming their own guidance and beating and raising. And they're also up their guidance to include two rate uh, hikes this year, and we might end up only getting one or zero. So, or imagine we get a rate cut. So basically, the rate environment is really bad, but SoFi is the best it's ever been currently. It's also, you have to keep in mind the stock is down 40% from the highs. Is that justified for where the company is right now? No. and the macro environment will eventually shift. It's not going to stay like this forever. That's just a fact. So when it does, SoFi is going to benefit tremendously from that happening. Lastly, we have Celsius here. They've had brand domination in each respected industry that they're in. The Zero Sugar for the Celsius brand, and Alani with the women demographic and the fitness space as well for kind of both of those brands as well. So they've really been taking tons of market share. They're like the industry leaders in those subsections, and I think they're going to continue to expand. Um, they have a diversified different holdings amongst the drink category, and the Pepsi partnership for distribution helps them dominate shelf space. Another thing to keep in mind is that one of the reasons that gross margins were down this past quarter, which is why the stock dropped, is because there was a one-time terminating distributor fee that was on the thing, so it brought down the whole balance sheet. However, they didn't even have to pay that fee. Pepsi paid it for them. It was just written in the law that they have to put it on their balance sheet, but Pepsi paid for it in full. They didn't have to pay a single cent for it. So it made the balance sheet look worse than it really is. There's still tremendous international opportunity for the company. They barely expanded into international markets yet. Remains a huge growth catalyst for the company. They also can continue to expand, and I think they will continue to expand shelf space and steal market share in their existing markets. Management has executed very well, and they're positioning the company to be one of the biggest energy drink brands, if not the biggest energy drink brand, in 10, 15, 20 years from now. So all three of these stocks are amazing buys before September at their current values. I know I gave an AMD price target at 700 end of year and long term. I'll do it for SoFi as well. I think SoFi end of year is around 25, and I think long term, like really long term, it's $100 plus stock. Celsius short term I think is be 50 to 60, and long term I think it's going back to all-time highs over 100. Little look at the portfolio. This was from earlier in the day, so this might have changed ever so slightly. But if you look at the holdings, we have AMD biggest, Celsius second biggest, and I believe ELF is third, and then we have SoFi. So it's also a big part of my portfolio, these three stocks. I'm not just throwing you out some random names. So I think all of these will dominate in the short term and long term. So they are great buys to have in your portfolio.